Good evening and welcome to TV Tuần-san News of the Week. My name is Emma Doe. In what's making headlines this week, North Richmond to host a trial on a safe injecting room amid soaring heroin overdoses. The daughter of a jailed Vietnamese blogger writes to Melania Trump for help. And Vietnam found to be the most charitable Asian Pacific country. In this week's top story, the daughter of jailed Vietnamese blogger Mother Mushroom has pleaded to the US First Lady Melania Trump to release her mother from prison. 10-year-old Nguyen Bao Nguyen posted a handwritten letter to the First Lady on Facebook last week, asking to reunite with her mother. The letter comes ahead of President Donald Trump's visit to Vietnam for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit next Monday. 37-year-old Nguyen Ngọc Như Quỳnh, known in Vietnam as Mẹ Nấm or Mother Mushroom, is a prominent Vietnamese activist known for her writing about social and political issues, including land confiscation and police brutality. Nguyen was jailed for 10 years in June this year for publishing anti-state reports. The US ambassador told Reuters News that the US had already been advocating for Nguyen's release, along with multiple prisoners of conscience, a number of times. Despite economic reform and increasing openness to social change, Vietnam retains tight control of its media, and criticism of the state is not tolerated. A national hotline to receive environmental complaints has been launched by the Vietnam Environment Administration. The hotline, which is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, encourages the public to report waste discharge and environmental pollution. Any information received will then be sent to the relevant agencies to be verified and inspected. The launch of the hotline follows an increasing number of pollution cases and environmental incidents nationwide. A Vietnamese activist arrested in May for protesting Hanoi's handling of the Formosa toxic spill will soon be tried for abusing democratic freedoms. 34-year-old Hoàng Đức Bình has been under arrest for over 6 months for organising a 100-strong protest against the government response to the deadly Formosa spill of 2016. Hoàng lawyer said he could face between 2 and 7 years in jail. Hoàng is also the vice president of an independent civic organisation called the Labour Movement of Vietnam, which aims to help workers. He is the latest to be prosecuted amid a major ruling party crackdown on bloggers and other dissidents. A new snake species has been discovered by Vietnamese scientist Dr. Nguyen Thien Thao. The Drum Khanh viper was found at the Drum Khanh Natural Reserve in Vietnam's northern province of Cao Bang. The Drum Khanh viper is smaller than other species of snakes, measuring 73 centimeters long. Its natural habitat is 500 to 700 meters above ground in evergreen and deciduous limestone tropical forests. Vietnam is now the leading Asian Pacific country that gives the most to charity, with 78.5% of consumers donating, according to a recent survey. The country is followed by Thailand at 66.3% and Hong Kong with 60%. The figures were revealed in the latest MasterCard Ethical Spending and Charitable Giving survey. The survey also showed that consumers from the Asia-Pacific market see children's education and health as the #1 most important cause when it comes to donating to charities. Local natural disaster relief efforts comes in second, and poverty alleviation initiatives came in as the third most important. 12 Vietnamese people have been arrested for illegal entry and overstaying visas in Thailand. The Bangkok Post reports the 12 nationals, including a baby boy, were stopped by immigration and tourist police during a search on Saturday. The group consisted of 6 men, 3 women, a teenage boy, a teenage girl, and a 1-year-old baby boy. They were all found to be illegal migrants. 10 of them were found to have overstayed their visas, while 2 others entered the country illegally. 10 Vietnamese illegal immigrants have been found squeezed inside of a truck at a motorway service station in the United Kingdom, despite the vehicle being waved through by officials at 2 border checks beforehand. According to the Daily Mail, the driver of the vehicle found the group after stopping for a break and hearing banging from the back. 10 males were pulled from the back of the HGV, which was filled with crates. It's reported the driver had been given the all clear during an earlier search in France. Immigrant rights organisations in the United States fear that thousands of Vietnamese Americans are at a heightened risk of deportation. Southeast Asian American community rights groups on Monday issued an alert warning that Vietnamese immigrants with final removal orders are particularly vulnerable to potential arrest, detention and deportation. It's estimated that over 10,000 US residents of Vietnamese origin, many of whom arrived as refugees, have removal orders. Removal orders are issued in a number of scenarios, including to those who might have been once refused entry into the country and to non-citizens who were convicted of a crime. The community group's warning noted that Washington had submitted 95 deportation cases to Hanoi to be processed in the last month. It also cited that a delegation of Vietnamese officials arriving to interview the Vietnamese community in the US state of Georgia signaled that President Trump was looking to deport more Vietnamese with removal orders. A Japanese doctor has produced a short video highlighting the slave-like conditions Vietnamese vocational trainees are subjected to in the East Asian country. In the video, Dr. Junpei Yamamura from Yokohama interviews 4 Vietnamese people who were abused and used to work overtime as cheap labour in the Japanese vocational trainee system. The system invites foreign nationals to train and work at Japanese companies, with the aim of upskilling people for their return home. But government data showed that 4,004 employers who accepted foreign trainees violated labour standards in 2016 alone. Vietnamese nationals were the largest group of vocational trainees in the country, followed by the Chinese, Filipinos and Indonesians. One man in the video speaks of being forced to leave Japan after he lost his eyesight while working at a construction site and being unable to make an insurance claim for his injury. The Japanese government is reforming the program in the next month and will establish an industry watchdog. Back to news in Australia. A 2-year trial for a safe injecting room in North Richmond has been green-lighted by the Victorian government. Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews, who previously opposed the trial, changed his mind after conceding that existing measures to curb a high number of heroin overdoses were failing. The injecting room will be medically supervised and run from the North Richmond Community Health Centre on Lennox Street. The Victoria Street Business Association Vice President Eddie Nguyen told the Australian newspaper that he believed the drug room would only increase the traffic of drugs in the area, where many Vietnamese businesses trade. But the association's president Mecca Ho believed it was one solution that would allow business owners to feel safer from users who would shoot up in front of customers. A total of 34 people died from heroin overdoses within a 4-block radius near Victoria Street in 12 months. Premier Daniel Andrews says he believed that the supervised injecting room could save lives. The trial is part of the government's $87 million drug rehabilitation plan, which will also see harsher sentencing for people found to be trafficking heroin. The new centre should be open within the next 6 months and is modelled on Sydney's King's Cross Injection Centre, which has seen 0 deaths from overdoses since its establishment. That's all from Tuần-san News of the Week. For more stories, you can follow Tuần-san at tvtsonline.com.au and Facebook at Tuần-san. I'm Emma Jo, thank you so much for watching and I look forward to your company at the same time next week.